Oh, it's time. Time to get radical.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to Radical Crime of the Week for February 10th through the 16th. Today is honorable mentions, and there's going to be 7. We're going to keep to that format that I started last week, 7 honorable mentions and 3 medalists, kind of like a top 10. The first honorable mention comes to us from M. Hage. Honestly, I don't think MGR cares at all. He sees anyone who speaks negatively about him and his crew as a troll who needs to be silenced. He said he is leaving his collection to Hancock, probably just in hopes he will inherit the room of doom. All MGR has talked about since the minute he started his channel is how to get people to give you their games for free. Hancock already has a giant collection when MGR only had maybe 2% of the games he has now back in the early days of his channel. Does Darth Vader turn on the Emperor every time he fires up the Death Star? All these guys care about is hoarding as much free stuff as possible while putting the most minimal effort possible forward. MGR still has a small collection compared to Hancock. He will act more loyal to the guy than his own family for this reason alone. Anyone who thinks otherwise obviously has yet to figure these guys out and is giving MGR way too much credit. Billy Sosa. I'm tired of this. This John Hancock guy needs to address this museum shit head on at this point. He keeps ignoring the main issue here like nobody will notice it. At the very least, John, just make something up. Do something. I guess this little copyright strike thing was supposed to be his something. You chose a sneaky roundabout way and you blew it. You blew it. It's time to muster up a little testosterone and face the issue head on. If not, you lose. You're done. Go home. I, for one, do not care what Mr. Metal Tits has to say about him because it's not about him right now. Roping MJ into this, exhibiting the same shitty behavior that the squirrely snake types take part in, fuck that. This is about John Hancock coming clean because I am sick and tired of hearing about the museum. Smash JT. I've asked Jason on Twitter for a response, but it was met with silence. Plenty have come to his defense that it is not his responsibility because he did not take the action, so it has nothing to do with him. But this now strikes me as the type of situation where someone gets to reap the rewards of friendship when it is beneficial and pretend they don't exist when there's controversy. MGR is solely responsible for whatever success John has seen. Without MGR, John would not have found success, based off my experience on this platform and what he has to offer viewers. It's interesting that people feel like MGR has no responsibility in the situation when John wouldn't even exist without him in the first place. I foresee MGR not saying anything and just waiting a very long time, over a year, to then have John on again after the situation is not on the front of everyone's mind. You're right. His decisions are based off money. It's his living. It's just unfortunate because when money decides a decision, the choice is not necessarily based off what's the most ethical thing to do. This is a super serious situation, and taking a stand against any creator who abuses the copyright system is not just the right thing to do, it's all of our responsibility, including someone who, by all accounts, directly is connected to it. Tim Ferrari. Hey Rick, very good points were made. That entire GameStop thing was a classic gender dysphoria thing, crazy, laugh out loud, but still, that's pretty minor compared to the scheme behind Hancock. Maybe Jason is helping him, or in on it, perhaps? I still think that Jason needs to call him out, or at least address the situation. Jason is quick to give bad reviews on games or consoles or things of the like, and does call out Reggie. Does he think what Hancock is doing is okay? Or maybe he doesn't see it behind the manipulation. Most compulsive liars are excellent manipulators and will even do it to their friends in their faces. He seems genuine and wholesome old smiley pies, but that's the way manipulation works. Watch this hand as this one pulls the real trick. Rusty Shackelford. Aside from poor marketing, DC's decision to use Suicide Squad's version of Harley Quinn is enough to put people off. After all, Suicide Squad was generally considered a terrible movie, so who wants to see a spin-off/sequel to a terrible film? Plus, Suicide Squad is no longer relevant now that Leto's Joker and Affleck's Batman are no more, so what makes DC think that Birds of Prey will be relevant? DC clearly has no plan and is just making movies as they go along and is really shows. The only good DC movies that have released since the Dark Knight trilogy have been Wonder Woman and Joker. Everything else has been at most decent or trash. Haddamton Rose. I saw it for free, talking about Birds of Prey, and I thought it was meh. Here's my Insta review for it. Wait, Haddamton Rose? How did you see it for free? Would you sneak in or something? I'm waving my finger at you there, Adam. Whatever it is. My movie reviews for Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, meh, it's nothing special or great like all these other people are claiming it is. It's really a no-brainer that WB changed the name. It is Harley Quinn the movie. The birds are just glorified cameos. And the team, if you want to call it that, only gets together in the last 20 minutes of the film. And they act like they've been together the entire film. It ain't earned. You can tell there were two different directors. If they used this cast, well, minus Kane, I think it could have been a good film. Nothing worth watching more than once. Huntress and Canary are underused, with them being the best parts of the film, and they are wasted. Just wasted Victor and Black Mass, just like they are wasted. Arrow did more justice to these characters. I give the film a C-. Wolfpack 1. Maybe I'm cynical, but I've been divorced, and I don't think anyone should get married. It's a piece of paper. What really matters is how you and the other person are together. If you do decide to be with someone exclusively, then do it without a piece of paper. That means nothing. Let's get real. Weddings are an absolute money pit, and is no guarantee that your marriage will be impervious to normal pitfalls. You're better off holding on to that money for a vacation or even your own child's education. There's nothing wrong with any of it, but just remember, you don't need a piece of paper and everyone else's 2 cents to be together. Whether or not people are married is not a measurement that will tell you if the families are stable. There are ladies and men raising large amounts of children solo without help, and to say that because of they're married, they're less likely to be a model citizen of society is wrong. I've seen large single-parent families that have extremely healthy households. One of my best friends had both of his parents, and trust me when I say he grew up in an unhealthy, dangerous household. Guess what? My best friend and his brothers turned out to be great people, so you can't point to anything that to determine who's going to be a good person or a bad person. So if you think certain people that come from certain stereotypes can be put in a bubble, then you're just wrong and need to grow up and start learning about real people in the real world. People are mostly good, and if you worry about what others are doing with their personal lives, should take the time and work on themselves because no one is perfect and everyone has problems. Sorry, it just gets me fired up when people think that certain societal norms are indications of people's morals. Peace out, Rick. I think that's it. I think that's all of the honorable mentions. So now we are sliding right into the medal ceremony. First up with the bronze medal, we got Terranigma. And this was talking about the Birds of Prey movie. Terranigma says, I think that the movie was marketed terribly, especially when you know that the movie's demographic is predominantly male. Ewan McGregor, exact quote from the movie during a Jimmy Fallon appearance, was as follows when asked about the movie. Brilliant. It's about time we've got this female-made, female-driven superhero movie. It's a really powerful film. It was just exciting to be a part of. A film that covers some of the misogynist nonsense that you ladies have to deal with on a daily basis. I don't know about others, but when I hear something like that in today's Hollywood climate, I have zero interest in whatever movie it is because I know what's going to be in it. Women equals good, men equals bad. Men make mistakes, and women don't. And that is too bad because the movie wasn't really all that woke I thought. From the marketing that was done by the actors, especially McGregor, it was trying to appeal to women and female empowerment, which is fine and all. But at the end of the day, the majority of its audience was male. So how exactly is it men's fault that the movie is a flop? Where were all the women? Why didn't they support the movie? The population gender makeup is about 50-50. Or it could be the way that they are too sick of this woke nonsense. Even if all the blue check marks on Twitter had shown up, most of which has no problem putting labels on people, the movie would have made a lot more money, but they didn't show up, did they? It's almost as if they just care to yap their mouth and virtue signal instead of financially support a movie that is catering to their ideology. A lot of interesting things you bring up there. From what I've heard about the movie, it didn't seem to be, all that woke, which is a phrase people toss around. Women good, men bad, basically. A lot of people say it didn't seem that way. I think it's a situation where the movie was made, and then people like Ewan McGregor saw an opportunity. Maybe the actors saw an opportunity. Hey, you know what? We can actually do some virtue signaling. We can say that this movie is great for female empowerment. Here's the problem. There's already way too much of that shit going around. Okay? You would think women would be Super Saiyans now. They're so overpowered. And it's just like the last couple years. Like, I think I was reading somewhere how there's a push to make a lot of male comic characters female. Just take a established male character and, flop some bubbers on them or whatever. The thing is, I get and understand female empowerment. Like, I understand it. I understand how a lot of females want to, be active in things. Like, I would have a girlfriend that was really into Tekken a couple years back. And she liked that they were female characters. Okay, it was cool. She was like, hey, it's cool, I'll be one of the girls and everything. So I didn't say, like, what's wrong with the men? You don't want to be king? What do you have against wrestlers and tiger heads? People just need to calm the fuck down. Just collectively, everyone just needs to calm the fuck down. You would think that men and women live on different islands. I mean, I recently had a comment, Wolfpack, talking about, marriage and relationships. I'm like, you would think that all these people just never even date each other. But yeah, to the end of your comment, you talk about how, ironically, a lot of the people that were virtue signaling about this movie, they didn't even go to watch it. So it didn't make a ton of money. The same people that were virtue signaling about it being such a great thing for female empowerment, a lot of the women didn't go see it. Also, self-awareness plays a role here. All right, I think Ewan McGregor did a lot of harm for that movie when it came out. Okay, if his idea was he wanted a movie to actually make money, then guess what? When maybe 80-90% of the people is going to go watch your movie, I'm sorry, I don't know what the exact, maybe it's 70-80, I'm not sure. Nerdy, geeky stuff, video games, movies, still, it's predominantly a male-driven industry. All right? Don't get mad at me because of that. Okay, it's not 50-50. It's far from 50-50. Okay? Go into a GameStop, by the way. Just go into a GameStop and look around. You don't see many bubbers, do you? Well, sometimes you see fake ones and you see a guy knocking over shit. Call me ma'am! The silver medal goes to Art Bell. Video of worth. By the 30s, dating choices are few for women. Unfortunate that women age so poorly. 18 to 35 at most, when the skin sags, etc. It is to warn males that her eggs are dying off. Poor aging backs up the power of Trump and Bill Murray's lawyer's prenup. Talking about their prenups. On the Smoking Gun website, pay $5,000 per year and walk when things start to deteriorate. I love the honesty of a prenup. She acts to marry from attraction, not wealth, and that she either controls irritation and resentments of those 15 years, or it's too much. She becomes bitter and you part ways. The Donovan Sharp YouTuber, he has a good distinction. Going their own way guys would draw most or all services from the dating world, use as a dodge from doing needed work to self-improve, and make the most money. Red pill guys stay in the game, self-improve, and just enjoy the ride of life. They date, but get the snip to avoid kids and wear a scuba suit. When she chases you down the marriage road, she signs the marriage prenup or splits. I love how these lads take meltdown essays and videos from women near or past 30, panic mode, and test the theories. In their 20s, they had fun. Now they see pics of their mom how past 30 she suddenly looked puffy, saggy, more makeup. The wall comes fast for them. Females, that is. With this worried IG YouTuber, a guy called Better Bachelor says, I don't know what she even looks like under all that makeup. She starts the video saying, YouTube tells me I have 2,000 female viewers / subs. I bet most of them are moms trying to teach their kids. He says, no need to be brutal and harsh, easily done, but let's examine and learn from her mistakes. Very measured, wise approach. Like Rick's approach to the grifter e-beggar clone army. Change a few creators, change an army of viewers to avoid the Patreon pitfall, unless by pitfall we mean the Atari video game. Maybe we see a Rick sub-channel giving a take on translating womanese, how badly the plane lands for hot unmarried party women as they hit the 30s wall. First, her pals are mostly settled down, so they won't party with her, looking for guys. Women don't want to go out. Women don't want to go out alone, so a roadblock, plus her world is smaller since she's not in school anymore. She is behind the ball from seeing her pal situation, caught sleeping, and time may have passed her by. She says she is more picky about men at the very time when her looks are failing. She still thinks she contends past 30. Meanwhile, most women are invisible to guys like Brad Pitt at any age. She needs to ease up greatly on her expectations and demands of men, but is doing the opposite. These men, before marriage, will size her up. Did she make correct choices in life and at the correct time? Even worse, she maybe has no career from her 20s when she was having fun. It's like the garbage compactor scene from 1977 Star Wars. No aging equality in looks between the sexes. No law or vote will change this. Not any essay or YouTube video. Men vote and act with their eyes. Women must act fast, 18 to 35, but women are told they can have it all, and that men and women are equal in all ways. Lies. So you talked about the wall. You talked about the wall that women seem to hit when they're 30. Not all women, okay? For some women, the wall comes before 30. For some women, the wall comes well after 40. One of those women, I would say, would be... You ever seen the show Modern Family? That really hot mom on that show. That really hot mom on that show that's married to, Al Bundy. He's always Al Bundy to me. I don't know what his name on the show is. That's weird, by the way. Isn't that weird? I think when I look at that family, that fake made-up family on the show, I think, well, he's got to have a lot of money. Because, honestly, you see the both of them, it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? But, that's a good example. Women's options and choices in life, and it ain't fair, or it is not fair, all right? I'll be the first to say it is not fair. Being a woman sucks in many respects. When you look at Hollywood, you look at the roles women get. Okay, you look at, and it's so silly when you see like a Steven Seagal type who's like, in his 60s, and you see like the romantic female lead is like barely past 20. It ain't fair. It ain't fair, Art. It is not. But that is life. That is life. You say towards the end of this comment, men judge with their eyes. Women do judge also with their eyes. Don't get it twisted. But men we really do judge with our eyes. We really do. There's a lot of times where a man will be captivated by a woman. He will offer up his entire life to a woman. He'll put her on a pedestal, which I think is wrong, by the way, but men judge by their eyes. How many times do you see a man make one choice that he wants to be with a woman forever, that he wants to give her everything in the world, and it's just because maybe, dude, she's like the hottest chick I've ever seen in my life. The mistakes of youth. You get with that chick, female, sorry. You get with that, you get that person because they're incredibly hot. But then you decide later on, when their looks start to fade, there's literally nothing else that draws you to that person. That's why a lot of divorces happen. Man becomes enamored with a female. Maybe he's doing good, maybe he's wealthy. So maybe it works out for both of them, Maybe she doesn't have to work. Maybe she gets to stay at home and be what's the term, hot wife? Maybe that means something else. I'm not sure in the BDSM community. She gets to be a hot wife and both get what they want. But then that wall starts a coming. Maybe she hits it, boom, runs right into it. Maybe she smokes heavily. Maybe she drinks heavily. Maybe she doesn't have her nutrition up. Maybe she doesn't sleep a lot. Then those wrinkles, they start to carve. Those crow's feet, all that starts to carve in. And then, what are your choices? Plastic surgery. Maybe things start to sag. Some women can hold off the wall. They can hold off the wall till 40, till 50. You mentioned makeup. Man says, I don't even know what she looks like anymore. I've not seen her under the makeup. Meanwhile, it ain't fair. Art, it is not fair. You bring up Brad Pitt. Is it fair that Brad Pitt, even if he wasn't famous, and a lot of younger women might still say, well, Brad Pitt, ooh, that creepy old guy or whatever. But half of women in their 20s would look at Brad Pitt and go, damn. Well, they wouldn't sound like a man. Damn. They would still want to get with Brad Pitt. Also, it doesn't help matters that a lot of women are actually attracted to older males. So all around, I get it. It ain't fair. And the wall is a real thing. Hell, there's some, George Clooney. There's some guys that haven't even really hit the wall heavily yet. They haven't even hit the wall. But show me someone of the age of a George Clooney, like a female that is still holding on. Maybe Jennifer Lopez. When I think about Jennifer Lopez, I think about Cartman. I am a Jennifer Lopez. And, when he does that little hand thing. Maybe her. I don't know. She's like, 50? But what did it take, though? How much plastic surgery did it take to hold off the wall? I won't go along with that one. That could have been a separate upload. All right, I'm feeling it today. Art. Is it time for the gold? I feel a gold rush coming on. Rasta Populus. I think this is your first medal, first honorable mention, first everything. Cherish it, Rasta. Rasta says, I discovered your channel today, and while I don't agree with a lot of things, I like how the videos feel like those old radio shows with the host just giving their 2 cents and responding to the, in that case, listeners. Your channel was also how I got to be aware of people like John Hancock. But for some reason, it kind of struck me harder this time when you brought up Norman Caruso. Obviously, I'm biased since I follow his channel, but I think the real reason why it struck me a bit harder may be due to the fact I see condemning certain creators for making a living out of YouTube as not as much different as how I make money out of producing digital illustrations people ask me for. Making drawings of a scenery or a person's OC isn't doing the world a service either, so I have a hard time seeing as simply the fact someone has a Patreon as something shameful. What Norman Caruso or Clint Basinger do isn't a service. But if people think the time and effort they put into their content is worth a monetary support, what's wrong with it? Maybe I'm missing something regarding Norman, but as far as I searched, Clint has never been involved in any kind of shady business or drama. The latter seriously puts the same kind of investment into his channel as one does in a full-time job. He has been very transparent in general. In fact, if you check his Patreon page right now, the perks aren't even a big deal as his videos on YouTube follow the same strict upload schedule since ever, and when he has the time, answers even to non-patrons. He's even addressed that fact numerous times, despite Q&A being a reward. In fact, there's a pretty big channel, which I'm sure everyone knows here, called Cinemassacre. They don't use Patreon at all, but anyone who has seen James Rolfe's videos since the beginning of YouTube can tell their current state is basically that of people who sold their souls to the algorithm. James barely pretending he isn't completely uninterested and saying his half-hearted, yep, that have already become a meme, Mike being completely condescending towards fans and haters alike, and getting away with it for simply being part of the clique. The general complete absence of effort put into those unscripted rental reviews, which despite having 3, sometimes 4 people talking, never contains any substantial discussion or input, clearly made just for the sake of Cinemassacre uploading nearly every day. And you know how they respond to negative feedback? Deleting comments, many of which are automatically removed if they contain certain keywords, and telling people if you don't like it, don't watch it. That's the example of a channel that sold its soul and doesn't actually respect the audience that made them grow. Not 10 seconds ending a video with a Patreon ad. Anyway, despite my own disagreement, I'm still enjoying listening, and I'll probably continue to do it. Yeah, Rasta, it's good to have you here. You bring up Norm Caruso, you bring up Cinemassacre, and you compare them to John Hancock. Three different cases. People already know here how I feel about John Hancock type. A master manipulator, someone that clearly is not being honest. So that's one type of YouTuber. Someone that's a master manipulator, not being honest, fake persona, almost all the boxes this person checks. Also, this year we added, I think late last year and to this year, we added false copyright striker. Okay? So there's reasons that I chose him to be my worst YouTuber from 2019. Heck, he might, be the worst YouTuber this year. I'm not sure. There have been some improvements, like his likes and dislikes are now enabled. But I don't know. It's just, he's always going to be a shady person in my eyes. As long as he's still got the museum scam, he's always going to be a shady person. Now you bring in Norm Caruso. My main criticism of Norm Caruso is his uploading schedule. The fact that he uploads maybe once a month. There was 1 month, literally, he uploaded a 5-minute upload of him going fishing. I thought it was almost a joke. Okay, he's got the Game Boy sonar out. He's going fishing with the Game Boy sonar. And I'm thinking to myself, this fucker makes $2,000. I mean, just from his patrons, right? Okay. People are giving him $2,000 a month to go fishing. I know it takes more than 5 minutes to put that upload together, but seriously, a 5-minute upload going fishing? Is that what you got for your audience? Okay, I can tell you, though, that as far as passion, Cinemassacre, that channel, it is very devoid of passion. Very devoid of passion. As far as selling out, I'm not going to go into it, but let's just say James Rolfe is obviously a sellout. Literally and figuratively, he is a sellout. He might as well, tattoo Raid Shadow Legends on his forehead, all right? He's a shell of what he once was, okay? There's a lot of people that's going to be here and not agree with that, but that's just how it is. If you compare current James to old James, then yes, he is a shell of what he used to be. So you bring up those two people. In comparison, you talk about Norm. I think like I said, man, Rasta, we have disagreements here. I'm sure we will. But you make a couple good points there. You do. Mostly about Cinemassacre, because I'm going to disagree with you on Norm Caruso, because it just comes down to the fact that I don't think he deserves $2,000 a month in his audience's money. I don't think he deserves to willingly be accepting that much money for the simple act of uploading 1 or 2 YouTube uploads a month, and he doesn't have a job. I can only frame it from my perspective. I can tell you, I can actually fucking goddamn guarantee you, Rasta, that if I upload 30, 35 times a month, that is far more, quotations, work and time and effort I'm putting into it than Norm Caruso. I understand. I know a lot of you. I'm going to hear you in the comment section. Okay, it takes time. It takes research. Time and research. It takes Wikipedia. And you also bring up Mike Matei being condescending to people and claiming if you don't like it, don't watch it. I can't verify that he has ever said that. Okay, so I can't take your word for it, but if he did say that, I've heard that a lot of places on YouTube. If you don't like it, don't watch it. It seems people only want people to lick their bums on YouTube a lot of the time. They're not interested in criticism, specifically even criticism from fellow gaming channels or people that just want to stop by and make their content better. The thing is, I think it comes to a point where you get channels get too big for their own britches, you might say, and they think that actual criticism, good criticism, people wanting to come to their channels and help improve their channels if they want to grow. If the idea is they want to grow their channel to be a lot bigger than it currently is, then it's very helpful to have criticism. It's very helpful to hear feedback from your own audience. Okay, so It sounds like Mike Matei, if he actually said that, and there's a lot of things about Mike Matei I could go into. The guy just, let's just say the guy has some issues. It's not helpful. It's not helpful for your channel. But I think him and James, they kind of feel like Cinemassacre is already big enough. It's so big. It's too big to fail. As long as they keep pumping out stuff. As long as they keep pumping out stuff. A lot of people might say, we don't give a shit about rental reviews. We don't care about this. Why do you have so many rental reviews? You're supposed to be a gaming channel. Like, why are you even doing this? These are not entertaining in the least. We don't like all the Raid Shadow Legends ads. We don't give a shit about ExpressVPN. They're going to stick their fingers in their ear. They're not going to hear that. Okay, all they're going to hear is cha-ching, cha-ching, all the money rolling in. That's all they're going to hear. So that's a drowning sound. The sound of money rolling in, that drowns out a lot of those criticisms. And I think that's the definition of a channel selling out, selling its soul.